were having our morning devotion. We heard our dogs barking fiercely. Then at the background, we were hearing the voice of a young man shouting, "Sir, please hold your dog, so please hold your dog, so hold your dog." So we came out. We knew somebody's life or somebody's welfare was at stake, and we had to come out only to meet a young man that our dogs were ready to devour. We were able to hold the dogs back and ask the young man, "What is your problem? How did you enter the compound?" He started explaining. He said he ran away from the father's house because he wanted to go to school on so date. The father said he must not go, but he so much wanted to go to school. That was how he left, and the father said he would not get back to the house again. So he had been roaming, sleeping in uncompleted buildings. But that morning, very early in the morning, as he was leaving the place, one man saw him and pointed light and saw him and started shouting "Ole Ole," pursued him. The only place he could scale through and believe that he won't be, killed immediately was our compound. You summoned courage and scaled the fence. I said that was he would like to save his life. I said, "Who is your father?" I started describing. "What about your mother?" The mother had died. I went on say, "How many? What about?" He say, "Should we report?" Say, "Even if you take me to my father, he doesn't want to see me around. He doesn't like me. He has so many of us. He doesn't take care of us. He just abandoned us. Why? Why is it difficult? How many are you?" He said, "There are many. Oh, how many wives did your father marry?" He said that he cannot count. That the father married so many wives. Some have died, some have run away, and even right now that the father married new wife. We're like, "Are you serious? What if we meet the father? If you like, you meet him, but he just does not want me around because most times he doesn't want to keep us. He will just have us at the end. He will look away and send us all out. A little thing, you say that we have done this, we have done that." That is how he has been treating our mother. So we looked at the young man. We made some contacts. The person, he said, described the person that pointed torch at him, was chasing him, and he ran to that place. Got the people around. They attested to what the young man was confessing. We tried to talk to him, tried to work on his mind, Of course, the person, he said it was his uncle that was pursuing him, was brought, and the man attested to what the young man was saying, carried him, the beating and all the threats. We told him, "I beg." Now, I'm not saying this because we are supporting the young man, but with some other discussions we had with the young man, we cannot say out now. I was moved to talk about this because on our streets, in our neighborhoods, we have so many children that are not happy. Not happy because they were born, not happy because they are alive, not happy because they are human beings. No, they are not happy simply because they have fathers that don't care. Can you imagine a father you have that you can't even tell the number of wives your father has? Yes, so, and your father keeps marrying, keeps sending them away, some running away on their own, some giving up and dying, and your father is marrying and picking them. And those children, he doesn't even have time for them. All he wants is have women around, mingle with them. If a child comes out, good and fine. If a child doesn't come out, he stretches hand, picks another woman and all the stuff. That is what is prevalent in our society today. And I tell you, it is affecting our society badly. It's affecting the church, it's affecting the educational system, it's affecting the government, it's affecting civil service, it's affecting even things happening in the rural and urban communities. And Family on Focus International today would like to, through this Your Family's Precious Caleb, talk about the unhappy children of uncaring fathers. Now let's look at this. We know that there are so many children around us that are not happy. Yes, they are not happy. And the cause of their happiness is because they have fathers that don't care. Fathers that don't want to know whether those children are eating, whether those children are in order, whether those children have where to stay. Imagine a father not being with a child for more than 3 days and never bother to look for that child. Even God has been looking for us. And people attested that the boy wasn't really a bad boy, just that the boy would like to go to school as well, but the father said no. And we now want to look at some of the reasons why some fathers don't care for their children. Then we'll find out why some of these fathers keep having children. They want to have children. They want to have so many children, but they are not really committed to the welfare of those children. That is why we are here. So I welcome you to your family this week with Precious Caleb. And today we are looking at the unhappy children of the uncaring fathers. Now let me say this before we proceed. There is no law that says that immediately you get married that you should have children immediately. Your readiness to have a child should be justified by the availability of resources. Please take your pen and put it down. Readiness for you to have a child should be justified by the availability of resources. So you get married or you want to have a child, first of all, ask yourself, do I have the resources required for the welfare, for the upkeep, for the sustenance, for the development, for the growth, for the goodness of this child? Do I have the resources? So the resources there may not necessarily be financial resources. No! There are some children that don't live in families where they have lots of money, but needed for the development, for the growth, the welfare, at the amount you have in the bank or you saved in your safe. No, we're looking at resources. Resources here include money, yes. So like I said, there are some children that their parents don't have lots of money. They don't have lots of money. But those children are well taken care of. The parents don't have money in the bank so much or in the pocket or in the safe. But those children, they are well taken care of. They have caring fathers. They are not unhappy. So when we're talking about resources here, don't look at money and say, Mama, you're saying that if I don't have money, I should not have children. No, I am saying that before you have that child, let it be that you have enough resources available for that child's development, growth, and care. For example, we have physical resources. When we're talking about resources being available for the upkeep, for upbringing, for development, for growth of the child, we have physical resources. Like when we talk about food that should be nutritious with adequate or essential values for growth and development. We talk about availability of water. We talk about shelter. These are physical resources that should be available. You don't have where to live and you're producing children up and down. You don't have a place that you can call your own personal accommodation. Your own is just to burn throw away, litter the streets with children. They ask you, say, na so then they come, na so they burn them. Na so then they come, then they burn them. You don't have where those children will stay. You don't have solid plan on ground on where those children will be laying their heads to be sleeping in the night. You don't have a solid arrangement for your children's clothing. Nothing like plan for hygiene. You don't have adequate clothing, you have plan for adequate toiletries, having hygiene facilities for maintaining dignity and good health. They are not there. Your own is just to be producing children. Children are not kept in secure environment. You say, you get one house where come out there, where I face me, I face you. It's not bad though, but you know the type of children you're trying to raise. And you say, anywhere they see now, make them sleep. You now produce like 5 children. One is living with the one at the other corner. One, I ask you, where is this one? You say, he's living with the uncle at Cotonou. This one is living with the grandmother's stepdaughter at so place. You just litter them and you don't even care to know where they are staying. Sometimes their children will leave the house and you even feel good because there is no space in the house for your children. So when they leave the house, they stay for like 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. You're not bothered because there is no space for them in the house anyway. So anywhere they see space, let them put their heads there and sleep. You are not doing well. You are being an uncaring father. You don't care about where your children are staying. We're talking about physical resources here. You don't have adequate plan. You have about 5 children and you're sharing one room with your wife and your 5 children plus the house help and maybe your brother or your sister or the people you have brought from your village. All of you inside one room. You are just being wicked quietly and nobody knows how to call you a wicked man. Your children are growing up unhappy because you are an uncaring father. So there are some resources that must be on ground as you're thinking of producing children. And I say that those resources are not necessarily money, but these are basic resources. I said you have physical resources like food. Make arrangement for food. The food must not have all the classes of meat in them, but let it be that there is something your children will eat, even if it's once a day, even if it's twice a day. But let it not be that your children will be starving and be cursing the God of their father, or will not want to be like their father. Or may say, okay, when I grow, I will revenge. You are creating trouble for us in the society. When your child does not have what to eat, there is no way you force the child not to go into crime. Because that child is hungry and by demand of nature will want to eat something. So if the child begins to collect money from people, start picking pockets, start picking things, killing the child, wasting the child, is not going to solve the problem. The arrest should be made on the father that refused to care for the child. There should be adequate resources on ground before producing children. We talk about physical care like health care. You're producing children, you don't have plans on how, on their health care. You understand? There is no plan. You don't know that children go for immunization. When your child is not feeling, I know of a man that the wife some years ago complained to me that she lost about 6 children. 6 children. Why? Because anytime she had a child and the child would be feeling sick, the husband, because the husband didn't want her to do anything and insisted that she must not do anything, she should stay at home and be a housewife. Me, I don't even understand that one. I don't understand that one and I don't buy it at all. And if a situation demands that you stay at home, there are so many things you can be doing at home so that you can be generating money. So that when there is an emergency and your husband is not there, you'll be able to answer your name and defend your children. But that is by the way. This woman said she lost about 6 of her children because at birth, of course, the man will not be available to take care of her at delivery, post-delivery care and all the stuff. And when the children will become sick, instead of the husband that insisted she should do nothing to take the child to medical center, to hospital for adequate medical attention, he will just be saying, don't worry, the child will be fine, or be forcing the child to be taking some herbs without adequate measurement or thorough dosage. And the children kept dying till she lost about 6. She said that one day the husband's elder brother came and they fought. They fought seriously because the husband refused to take the child to the hospital. The elder brother got angry and started beating the husband, that, of course, his younger brother. And it was a very big fight that she started running around to know how to separate them. The brother was insisting that if you will not take your children to hospital, stop producing children that will be dying. We can't keep coming to be burying children that shouldn't have died. If not that out of carelessness or unpreparedness, you did not make adequate preparation for their health care. We have so many fathers around that when they have, even when you go to the Bible, remember that woman, when the child became sick and went to the father referred him to the mother. He got to the mother, laid there. So these children, they are not given adequate health care. Look at that woman. The child came as the husband referred the child to the mother. The child came to the mother, laid on her lap, and eventually gave up by 12. And the mother had to carry the child and started running to meet the prophet for the child to come back to life. What am I trying to say? You as a man, when it's time for me to talk to women on that, I thought, now we're looking at uncaring fathers. And we're talking about you as a father. Producing children should be based on you having available resources on ground. Not that you're believing God, okay, that don't worry, tomorrow will be fine. As it is now, what solid structure do you have on ground for these children's welfare? for their growth, for their development, as per resources being available. And we said that there are physical resources. We talked about shelter, where the children will be. We talked about clothing. We've talked about having adequate feeding. Yes, we talked about having water. Okay, then we are not talking about this one we call healthcare. I say that you should try and make sure that there is plan on ground to take care of the health of that your child. Yes, you don't bring out a child that you're not prepared, you're not ready to take care of his health. You know that you're AS and you're in love. You married a woman that is AS. You produce AA, you produce AS, you equally produce SS. And now this child is battling with sickle cell anemia, and you're just sitting down there, say, don't worry, he will be all right, she will be all right. Say, hey, satanic attack. You are not being a good man at all. You are an uncaring father. And that child will grow up hating what you're doing. If you know that out of carelessness you produce that child is battling with SS, make solid arrangement on ground on how that child will be taken care of. In fact, even if before the child is given birth, you should have reason to know that yes, you should be able to know that, okay, even if the child was not born with any particular health issue, you should prepare ahead of time and tell yourself, maybe my children, yes, you should be able to say, oh, what if my child is playing and falls down? Don't tell me that angel should take care of the child, you should not fall down. Keep that one first. Let's face what is happening. You know, oh, what if something happens? You now start thinking of, where will I go and borrow money now? Where will I go and borrow money now? There's no money. You should plan ahead of time for the welfare of the child that you are bringing into this world. Apart from physical resources, that will talk about feeding, the water, the health care, talking about immunization, if there is need for medical checkup from time to time, there is need to place the child on a particular routine drugs or whatever you do. Talk about the clothing of the child, talk about shelter. We are not looking at emotional resources that you produce children. You want to produce children. Do you have the emotional resources available for that child's development, for that child's growth, for that child's welfare? In emotional resources, we are looking at about love and affection. Children need love. Oh. Children need lots and lots of hugs. Hard man. You cannot hug your child, though. But when you see your secretary, you hug your secretary for 2 hours. You cannot hug your child. But when you see people outside, you hug them well. You are not prepared adequately for that child, though. You are not. You're not supposed to have that child if you don't have the ability to hug your child. This is your family this week with Precious Caleb. And here we are trying to say the unsaid truth on the right platform. For you to produce a child or children, there must be that readiness in the availability of resources. And apart from physical resources, we are talking about emotional resources here. That your child or those children you produce or you're hoping to produce, they like to be hugged, they like to be loved, they love affection. You understand? They want to have emotional security developed in them. They want to build good self-esteem. And if you don't have love, if you don't have affection, you cannot take care of them in that manner. If you are an aggressive man, if you are an angry man, if you are antagonistic with everything in life, you will see that attitude pouring on your children. And your children will begin to run away from you, and they'll begin to form a wrong model about how people relate with people. So you must be emotionally prepared for the child you're bringing here. You should always have the emotional resources as per being a positive role model. Your children benefit from positive role models. And those role models for them should be the parents. Like we said the other time, I did a video about a student in a university that had issue with a lecturer. and all that happened, and it was everywhere on the internet. I said the problem, the praise or the blame should not even go only to the student and the lecturer. The parents should be brought to be celebrated or to be criticized, because whatever that displayed there happened to be what has been, what we could call the nurture or the nature those people got. So the parents should be the role models for these children. So you as a father, before you produce that child, tell yourself that you owe that child the responsibility of molding or modeling the child positively. So if you don't have positive thing to, display towards that child as per your character, your personality, your being, you should not bring the child into this world. Because if you do, you are bringing a child that you're going to misinform, malform, and destroy, then throw back to the society. And society will eventually come to fight you back in one way or the other, directly or indirectly. So your resources, emotional resources, should include you being positive role model for your child. If it is not there, please don't produce that child. There should also be the resources in the aspect of emotional support. Children need emotional support and validation to develop emotionally, to develop in their intelligence, to develop and become resilient in life. So if there is no emotional support for that child, don't bring that child in to this world. If you cannot influence the child positively or help the child to believe that there is good in life and that the child has the capacity to become a great, a good, a wonderful person tomorrow, then don't bring that child in. If you cannot support the emotional strength of your child positively, don't bring that child, because that child will come and become an unhappy child, and the unhappiness in that child will eventually hit the uncaring father, if not now, later. We also have it in play and recreation. Your child will like to play with you. In fact, children naturally like to play. Children are attracted to recreational activities. That is why at the formative stages, in fact, in some schools, at that preschool, the kindergarten, pre-nursery, nursery, crèche, or primary, there is always provision for recreational activities for those children, because that is how they are. So you as a father, if there is no provision for play or for recreation for that child, I beg, don't bring that child into this world. You as a father, you cannot sit like this, cross your leg, play Ludo with your children, play what with your children, play chess with your children. You cannot stay with your children and crack jokes and laugh. You cannot carry one on your back, run around the compound, play or climb tree, let them watch you. You come. You don't have time. You're so busy, and you want to bring a child that is cooling off there in heaven. You want to bring that child and come and suffocate that child with your business that is not generating recreational activities, that is not generating emotional stability, emotional support, positive modeling for that child. Don't bring that child. You can't play with your child. You cannot run around with your child. You cannot. You're just boning up as if the child is the problem, is the cause of the hardship, is the cause of everything. Didn't you prepare well? So the preparation is what we're looking at now. You make up your mind. If you produce a child, if you're planning to produce a child you cannot play with, you cannot have recreation with, I beg, don't. So that you won't produce children that will gladly leave you and choose to suffer in the bush and be sleeping in an uncompleted building for days, and won't even mind to scale fence and say, if dog bite me, let dog bite me, instead of me to go back to my father. Oh yes, why did you produce that child that you cannot play with, that you cannot spend time with? All this running up and down for what, sef? Is it not to have food to eat, where to stay, and have some things to take care of your health with? And all these things are because of these children. If you earn lots and lots of salary and come back and they are not there, what will you use the money to do? Or you go and chop life, chop life. After chopping life, when you start getting old, you know that life can chop somebody too. So the point is this: please let there be adequate emotional resources available as you're thinking of producing that child. Or if you have produced that child or the children, make sure that you look for these resources and make them available for them, so that those children or that child will not become unhappy. Then we have cognitive resources. I'm trying to break the resources down, because when I talked about there must be availability of resources before a child is produced, some might think, mama, it's like you're beginning to show us, like, say, if we no get money, we will no born pikin. We're not talking about money here alone, no. But for your information, there is need for you to have money. It's not that you have the whole money, you have millions and millions. But don't tell me that you're trying to produce a child, but you don't have steady source of income. That one, by the way, let's keep that one. But just be sure that there is steady source of income. Whether you are employed or you employ people, make sure that there is steady source of income. I'm not rolling away finance, but I'm trying to say that the resources we are talking about here can't be only finance. We have talked about physical resources. We have talked about emotional. So we are saying that there must be adequate availability of resources. And now we are looking at cognitive resources. After other resources, I have cognitive resources. In cognitive resources, we are talking about producing, making available quality education for that your child. Your child must be granted access to quality education. If I see any child on the street that is not going to school, that is not in school, as at the time other children are in school, the father, not even the mother alone, no. When I have time, I talk to women on that. But the father is a key suspect to the person frustrating the life and destiny of that child. You cannot produce a child that you don't have plan to give quality education. When I'm talking about quality education, I'm not talking about sending the child to the most expensive school, to a private school, to the costliest school. No, some of us did not attend private schools. Some of us did not attend expensive schools. But put us side by side with some that attended, you know that we carry something commode school. You understand? So, and when I'm talking about quality education, I'm talking about you being sure that the child is given the necessary education, basic foundational education, that the child goes to school when the child is supposed to go to school. The child has access to knowledge that is made available for that child at that time. Knowledge that is supervised, that is under curriculum. Yes, that follows scheme, that has pattern, that will be able to affect the child's cognitive, possibly the affective and psychomotor domains. You don't just produce a child and say, when it's time to pay school fees, say, you know, you get some of your mates who never go school. Just sit down. We don't know how it go be. There is a difference between a man making plans, adequate plans, and along the line something came up, than a man being outrightly uncaring, not committed to the welfare of the child, not being serious with taking care of the child. There is a difference between a man that had a fall, and a man that has been on the ground, comfortably on the ground, not even making any move. You tell him, Daddy, they said if we don't pay our school fees, not come to school. Say, sit down now. We even suppose go farm today. He said, even at your age, I don't even go school your age. Is your destiny and my destiny the same thing? The destiny you carried to this point and the destiny your child you carry, should they be the same thing? If your parents did not send you to school, and we are looking at your life now, we have seen that the school they didn't send you is affecting you. You now want to allow it to affect your child, to that your child will not go to school also. No, now have a plan, a solid plan to make sure that your child will be given access to quality education. There are schools in the neighborhood that you can afford. Yes, so There are schools so far the school is government approved. So far the school is following scheme, has curriculum. So far the school has step by step, growth and development. It's a good school. So far the teachers there are doing well. They have qualified teachers. It's not about the amount you pay in school. It's not about the amount. It's about what comes out from the school and the output as a result of the input. And if the child that comes out from that school can compete globally with their mates, yes, that is it. That's quality education. So there are schools around you that don't charge so high, but those schools are good. Take your child to that school. Don't compete with your neighbor. Don't compete with your neighbor that can pay 500,000, 1 million comfortably for a term for a child. What am I learning there? What is the child learning there? Me too, I don't know. But you see a school that would collect 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000. You leave that school, say, no, and you be stressing people around you up and down. No, you must give your child adequate education. You owe your child that one. It's not even something you negotiate. If you produce a child you refuse to send to school, the child can sue you. The child can get up and ask you why. Didn't you plan for me? Why did you drag me to this place when you didn't have plan for me? And you can even be arrested. Government should look for you because you're causing trouble in the society. The child will come out tomorrow and begin to hate everybody because we look at those that have gone to school and feel that they stole their destiny. Yes, and look at those ones. They will be feeling inferior around them, and the inferiority in them will now make them to become aggressive to them, and violence and insecurity will be on the increase in the society because an uncaring father produced a child he refused to care for and made the child an unhappy child. And when you have unhappy children, you are breeding unhappy community that will bring unhappy society, and by extension we are having unhappy humanity. So there must be cognitive resources available before producing that child, or even as you produce the child. This is your family. This group, Precious Caleb, is an outreach arm of Family on Focus International, where we are trying to reach out to the singles, the married, the separated, the divorced, and the widowed, because we want their relationships to work. We want marriages to be sweeter. We want homes to be peaceful. And today we are looking at the unhappy children of the uncaring fathers. And we started by saying that the readiness for a child should be justified by availability of resources. And we said that the resources should not be considered only in a monetary term, but physical resources. We have looked at shelter, food, clothing, medical, health care, things like that. We also looked at the emotional. We said having time to show the child love, playing, having recreation with the child, talk about being positive role. So now that we have come to cognitive resources, we started with education. And we are saying that every child you gave birth to, you owe that child access to quality education. And we have tried to clear ground so that quality education doesn't mean expensive bills to be paid in school. It simply means that the child has the right to go to school, sponsored by the father. So if you are not ready to take care of that child in school, please don't bring the child into this world, and don't force others around you to take care of your child in school. Am I trying to say that everybody must have a no? We are trying to say that there are some people that are selling, including their rapper, to make sure that their children go to school. True of us. And we're also saying that there are some that their inability to send their children to school is not because they don't want to, but because they just had a fall. That was why we say that there is a difference between somebody that just fell and somebody that has been lying comfortably on the ground. But in this one, we are talking to those fathers that are comfortably lying down on the ground, not getting up to do what they're supposed to do as per providing adequate cognitive resource, health, welfare, development, growth, or support for their children. So there should be availability of cognitive resources. Apart from the educational aspect of it, we are looking at stimulation and engagement. That is under cognitive resources. And we are saying that children need cognitive stimulation and engagement, such as you stay with your child, you read with your child, have puzzles with your child, do some problem-solving activities. It's not every time your child comes back to school with assignment, you send your child to the nanny, or you send your child to the boy staying around, or to the girl staying around, or to somebody to your child will be drawn closer to you. You will begin to have bonding with your child. Your child will be developing better, will be growing better, even mentally, if you spend time to do some of the homeworks or assignment with your child. Ask your child what happened in school. Tell your child to show you what the teacher taught. And as you're helping your child in the assignments, when the child shows you the one that you don't know, tell the child, nah, I don't know this one. No. When I was in school, I wasn't good in science, or I wasn't good in literature, or I wasn't good in this. I wasn't good in this. Though I would try, but don't rely on my own. Okay, let's see what your teacher taught you. Let's read it together. Maybe from there, we'll be able to extract solution to this. Let your child know that you are part of his or her education. You owe that child that too. Your house help doesn't owe your child that. The people around don't owe your child that. You owe your child that stimulation and engagement in his academic pursuit or in his educational strides. So spend time with your child. We're talking about the unhappy children of the uncaring fathers. And we are saying that you being uncaring is bringing troubles to us in this society. And we want you to stop being uncaring. And the reason why you suddenly, you're being uncaring is because ab initio, you weren't ready. You weren't actually ready for the child, because the readiness for that child is by availability of resources. And one of the resources here is that of cognitive offer, whereby you shouldn't just send your child to school, but you should be part of stimulation and engagement of that child in their child's work. The next in cognitive resources now is when we are talking about learning materials. There are some fathers that will send their children to school, but they will not buy books for them. They won't buy books for them. They won't buy study materials for them. They won't buy anything for them. They will just say them, I don't buy you uniform, or yeah, begin to go. After me, I go come pay your school fees. You don't know whether your child writes or draws, whether your child reads, whether your child needs to listen, nothing. And we are saying that if these things are not available, stop producing those children. Yes. Somebody will say, are they producing them because then they come? It is not love for children that is the major reason why people are producing so many children. It is not love for children. Some say, I they born them because I like children. It is not true. It is just because of for unbridled passion for sexual ecstasies or exposures, expressions, or relationships. Just because you cannot control it. You just go, come. Children, they pump out, they come out. Children just, they full everywhere. And they find yourself, say, in born 32 in 2 years, in born 42 in 5 years. And you're finding yourself, where are those 32 children? Where are those 10 children? Where are those 5 children? They are roaming the streets. Some are inside the bush. Some are running around at motor parks. Some are following vehicles on the road. Some are trying to steal and they are catching them. Why? Is it their fault? They were on their own. And you, as a man, you brought them into this world. And you don't care? You don't care. They are roaming. unhappy children, because some of them, they are not sure of what to eat, they are not sure of where to sleep, they are not sure of their health condition, their medical attention, they are not sure of education, they are not sure of learning materials as they are going to school at all. See children, they like to see children. It's not love for children. It's not love for children. Rather, you're hating them because you're bringing them into this cruel world, exposing them to. Apart from making time to stay with them to do the assignment, do you produce learning materials for them? Yes. So we are saying, so you must make available the learning materials. You don't send them to school and they don't have materials. No. Make sure that the learning materials are available. Am I saying that you must buy all? No! You must not buy all the learning materials. Because you are a caring father, you will even go and collect from people that have finished using the materials. They are not using them again. Collect them and give your child. You can make some other arrangements to ensure that those materials are made available for your child. You don't need to buy all. So that we don't say money. It's not all. There are some schools. There are some schools that repeat textbooks. Yes. So you can approach those that have passed the class where your child is now. Be nice to them. Good human relationship. Then collect the ones that are not using again and let your child use. And in a situation where the school does not repeat books, be polite enough to approach the teacher and said, I would like to buy all these books for my child, but financially I am not able right now, but please give me some time. And you start working on your income and your expenditure. You know, the Bible says marriage is between a man and a woman, no. Not between a girl and a boy. It's not this thing everybody's coming, baby. And men, husbands are doing baby. Fathers are doing baby. Marriage is for somebody that can look at responsibility and say, responsibility, I am fully prepared for you. Because before coming into this marriage, I knew that marriage comes with responsibilities. And I am not shaking. So if it means going to school, taking my child to school, ensuring that my child gets educated, or that my child has learning materials, I am here. There are some materials that are even online that I don't need to buy. Most of my children are with my phone to do all the assignments from the materials available online. So you mustn't buy all the materials, but just try and ensure that you make the materials available. The next in cognitive is mentorship. Mentorship and guidance from experienced individuals can help children to develop their cognitive skills and explore other interests in education. You see, some of us that have children around us, we try to mentor them. Like in my profession, in my career, if I notice that any of my children is interested in my career, in my area, it's my duty to mentor the child. If that child is not interested in my own and is interested in maybe my friend's own or somebody's own, it is my duty to provide mentorship for that my child. And if I was in a particular race and noticed some things that were not okay, of course that I know that those things will not be okay for my child. Being a mentor to that my child should make me to tell my child, you see this one, I try to look at where it got me to, look at what I discovered and look at why I pulled out. Be open and let your child get direction from you when it comes to education. That is making cognitive resources available for your child. I will talk about social resources, then we'll start wrapping it up for the day, because this is what we are treating in series. And we are starting today by this thing. We are saying that readiness for any child to be born is only justified by the availability of resources. So we decided to touch the resources. Now we are at social resources. Now, one of the social resources we are talking about here is social connections. Children need social connections with family members, with their mates, to be able to develop very well. We live in a society, and in a society we have more than 2 persons around us. And we live in a society means that with our children, we are there. So we should make sure that our children will be able to connect with people around them safely, to be able to absorb some good and say no to some bad, to be able to be exposed to what is obtainable in a society, and with the preparation we have made morally for them, they will be able to say, this one, no, our family has a culture, this one, no, this one, yes. You should be able to prepare your child in a way that your child will be able to make friends, good friends, and know how to say no to bad friends or bad influence. You understand? That is making social connections as social resources available for your child. Your child needs to know how to fit in a community in order to be able to explore what is available, what is obtainable, and form a way of life and have value system for himself or herself. Yes. And it also is going to help the child to have stable emotional intelligence. So if you're not prepared to help your child to, be exposed to social available resources, then you are not doing well. If you withdraw your child from knowing what is happening in the society, when society hits the child when you're not around, society can swallow that child and you won't find that child. If at all you do, it won't be that soon. So we need to look into that. And you should also provide community engagement. I'm talking about participation in community activities like going for sports. Yes, so going for sports, engaging in volunteer work. From time to time, allow your children to come out, open the gate, let your children come out and see how people do sanitation, how they clean the environment. Yes, so allow people to know that there are some skills available in this environment, that where people are living, those people are good in making baskets. Let your children see how it is, how baskets are made. Yes, so it's a way of getting them engaged in community, and let them make theirs and show. Let them contribute to the community that is hosting them where they are. That is you helping the child. It's going to develop the child very well. Then in social resources, let your child know about cultural heritage. That's what we call cultural heritage. Every family, apart from having family culture, has a culture that guides the activities of the family or the families in that area. So let your child know. Yes, you owe your child that. Of course, there are some things that are obtainable in my culture where I was born and brought up. My parents did well to tell me about them. And where I'm married to, there are cultural practices there. I'm aware of them too. Yes. So you as a father, you owe your child that exposure. You understand? Expose your child to cultural heritage. Where I'm coming from, there is something that we are so proud of that you can't find any other place. We have a dance. We have the way we dress. We have things we do that you can't find other places except in my own culture. And my father did well to let me know about them. In my culture too, there are some things that are deadly, and my father told me about them. My father owed me that, and he paid the debt by letting me know about them. So now I know how to tread with caution in some areas concerning my culture. And my father has taught me things to be proud of about my culture. And if you look at me, you know that, my culture, I want to use chop my mayo. So there should be exposure of that child to cultural heritage. The child should be exposed to traditions. I've said it here that tradition is not evil, except the traditional practice is ungodly, is going against the word of God. But any traditional practice that is in line with what is obtainable in the word of God, it is good. So every culture, every community, every society has culture, has traditions. You as a father, expose your child to the traditions, the traditional practices, and don't force your child to buy the traditional practices. They will help your child, yes, so they will help your child to develop a sense of identity and freely connect to the community. So if your child doesn't know the traditions, if your child doesn't know the cultural practices, if your child doesn't know the values, the value system in your community, you are being an uncaring father. Because if you don't teach your child, you mean you're sending your child for others to teach. You didn't know about these things before bringing your child into this world. That's why we are saying that the resources should be available. And one of the resources is what we are talking about now. Yes. And what is that? Social resources. And out of the social resources we are now talking about, apart from community engagement, we are looking at community heritage. Cultural heritage. Let your child know what you guys are proud of or what you guys frown at in your community, in your culture. Let your child understand the value system. Like in my culture, for example, it is a taboo for a girl to become pregnant before getting married. It is a taboo. It is our culture. And the shame, the dishonor, the disregard that will come to the family where a girl got pregnant before getting married, sometimes can be suicidal. So when you tell them and let them know, they will now decide on what to do. In fact, it was so bad at that time we were growing up that any child, any girl that got pregnant, they will be whispering, it's like. And I don't even know how old women used to discover somebody that just got pregnant. Even if it's 1 week, those old women will know. So in order to cover the shame, it was as bad as that they wouldn't mind hurriedly marrying the beautiful girl off to maybe a retired old man in his 80s. Let it be that the child is baited under the umbrella of a father, a man. But if you, as a father, you fail to tell your child this one, you fail to make such available, the child will not know. And if the child misfires, misbehaves, you don't blame the child totally. The father should be brought to answer questions on why the child does not know the cultural practices in that place. Yes, in my culture, it is an abomination for one to go and steal cassava, to steal from farm. It's an abomination to be caught stealing. And of all places, in a marketplace, even if it's 1 pin, in my culture, you don't steal. In my culture, it's abomination for you to be caught stealing egg. In my culture too, we were taught that a woman does not climb kola nut tree. Not that all the practices that we are okay with them, but my father made me to know those things. That is what you owe your child. Tell your child those things. Let your child know. We are still looking at the resources that should be made available before any child is brought into this world by the father. Or if at all the child has been brought into this world, the father should go back and look at these resources and be sure that they are available. If they are not available, he should start bringing them to the table. Because if these resources are not made available, the child is actually an unhappy child. Yes. And the unhappiness of the child is because the father is not caring. And at that, we are trying to brood hazard or tension in the society. All right, we now talk about support network. There should be access to support networks such as counseling services, such as support groups, such as all those groups and associations that can help to navigate a child in a society, helping the child know how to mix up with people, how to grow, the opportunities are available, things that can be of benefit to the child as provided in the society, maybe by the society, by individual or government. So we should look at that, and as a father, please make sure that that is available. And I'm talking about support network. All right, finally, let's look at financial resources. So you have seen that when I talked about availability of resources, some thought we're talking about money alone. No. So you see, we have touched others. We've touched the physical, we've touched the emotional, we've touched the social, we've touched others. Okay, we have not even touched the spiritual and the moral. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to force you to become a Christian. Let's get this. You now decide whether it makes sense actually to be a Christian. But as you can see, it makes a very big sense anyway. All right, so we have talked about other resources. Now we are looking at financial resources. Have you seen it now? Financial resources is just one of the numerous resources that should be made available before a child is brought into this world. Did I say that you must have the whole world? Did I say that you must have a job where you're paid millions or billions? Finance is not what should control you. Finance is what you should control and send to work for you. And for you to send it to work for you, you must have it. You don't need to have it everywhere. You just need to have the one that will be able to work for you, and not the one that will make you to work for it. I'm sure you got it. Just think. All right. So the first thing in financial resources here is economic stability. I beg. If you're trying to produce a child, no matter how beautiful that lady is that you're following up and down, no matter how fine, succulent your wife is, just know that at the peak of your ecstasy, there is possibility of bringing an innocent child into this world. So quickly hold yourself and ask yourself, do I have economic stability? Economic stability here means that there should be that available plan on ground to make adequate provision of basic needs as much as money can afford. That is the definition. The economic stability here is in a situation whereby you know that even if you don't eat chicken every week, at least you can have crayfish and water, mix it with salt and eat. There must be something that you know that can generate money for you. Even if it is not the amount that can afford let it be that you can't be caught unguarded. That if they say, hey, that your son swallowed I don't even know what your child can swallow. Let your child not swallow anything. Oh, okay, that your son swallowed bone, and they say, oh sir, there's a way we do it with salt, please buy salt. They check the whole house, there is no salt. They say, okay, just go to shop and buy. There is one, that small one, that's selling it 150. You'll be looking at your wife. You say, okay, you'll be thinking of where to borrow money to buy salt. Salt 150. So that people that have come to help you will be able to help. So that the bone your child swallowed will not choke your child. You're looking for where to get 150 naira to buy salt. Salt. I say salt. Oh. And when you come, you say, don't you know I'm your father? Don't you know I'm your father? Now. But we are now asking you, are you a normal father or an uncaring father? If you are a normal father, you should have economic stability. That when there is an emergency, Even if it is 20,000 that is needed, at least have 500 naira. Let people rally around and help you, maybe till 5,000. You now deposit and go and look for what to do. But I want to ask you, all this while, what have you been doing that you couldn't raise 2,000 out of 20,000? Yeah, I don't even, I'm not painting anything, no. We are being realistic here. Because all this way that we have been painting our words, something that we can't say those things, and things are going wrong. We are covering atrocities with religion, and children are suffering, living in regrets, wishing that they were not born. Then we are producing children that will be selling their souls to Satan, and will happily walk into hellfire and even ask Satan to give them front seat. Just because some fathers decided not to bridle their sexual ecstasies and started producing children they didn't plan to take economic stability. If you don't have regular source of income, please don't produce any child. If government does not employ you, create job for yourself. Some of us that are working in government, we are trying our best to do some other things. Like we plant vegetables around our house. We plant vegetables so that when the salary cannot provide 200, 500, 1,000 for vegetable to cook small yam, we enter our farm and harvest vegetables and use and cook. But you just fold your hands like this and sleep from morning till 12 o'clock. You come with wrapper around your chest with long broomstick, chewing it as if you're pointing to heaven. And that's why you say you're believing God. Don't worry, believing God. In fact, any woman listening to me right now, I give you the permission, report your husband to my inbox if he does not take care of the family. And not that he had a fall, financial fall, but he's just not having economic stability because he doesn't want to be committed to the family affairs. Please report him to my inbox. Family on Focus is a fully registered NGO. There is a way we handle such people. They won't even know that we are handling them, but they will be handled and their heads will be normal. This is your family, this with Precious Kelly. And today we are trying to discuss the unhappy children of the uncaring fathers. Fathers, am I not your friend again? I'm still your friend, but I'm telling you the truth so that tomorrow you will not regret having those children. So in the financial resources that should be available, we said that there must be economic stability. Some time ago, I did a video where I said that, sister, if any young man comes to marry you and you ask him what he's doing, he said he's believing God. Don't try it. Don't try it. It's better you marry that young man that will tie crayfish and hustle and sell it and make gain of 1,000 in one wrap. It is better because that one has a sense of responsibility and begin to have value for every money in his or her hands. Yes. But that one that will just comb hair, fry the hair very well, wear big chain, baggy knicker, and be walking the street, showing power, showing how fine, oh, what a fine man, pressing pimple all the time on the face. Don't come and tell me anything about that. If the person is not doing anything, don't even think of considering. Don't even say, let me pray about it. There is nothing to pray about. It is clear to you. The Bible says that he that does not work, he will not eat. He will not eat. And those people, if you say, okay, let you just consider, tomorrow will be better, they will use that as a foundation for that marriage. And when you stop being uncaring by suffocating yourself and getting frustrated internally, they will think that you're growing wings. And we are having cases of this one killed the wife, this one killed this. You see the sign, you just pull out. Pull out before you're pulled out of this life. So fathers, have economic stability. Look at things you can do. Go into agriculture. Yes, so go into agriculture. Stop gambling. Stop playing this. If I do this, if I pay 2,000, they give me 14,000, 50,000. Stop that. Stop being unrealistic. There are children around you, or that there is a child around you that depends on what you provide. So go and look for what to do. Learn how to barb. Go from one house to other. Say, I can barb, but they think it's a joke. If others are charging 500, say, let me give you 200. And you apply excellence to it. You barb beautifully with borrowed clipper. Barb with borrowed clipper beautifully. Others are charging 500, charge 200. Before you know it, every weekend in that neighborhood, people will carry their children and bring for you. And before weekend, you'll be making more than the salary of that person that is wearing starch shirt every day, walking with high heel shoes, even as a man, going to where I don't know, because he's an employee. Be making lots of money. And when there is an emergency, you can handle the matter as much as God has enabled you. And when God sees that you're faithful in that little, he will give you bigger thing to handle. But when you are just there, waiting that there is money you're expecting, that the money, in fact, if you see how I hate this thing, when you talk to me, say, there is money I'm expecting, there is money I'm expecting. If there is money, don't stress me. Don't come and stress me with money you're expecting. Me, I'm expecting money too, but I work with what is available. You don't say you're expecting money and you burn, everything, nothing works. You just say that my brother abroad said that he will send money to me in 3 months' time. You get up and be doing something, because if there is nothing you're good at doing, when the money comes, you cannot manage it. And at that, your economy is unstable, and the children around you will suffer for it, and they will hate whatever it is that has made you their father. My name is Precious Caleb, and I'm your friend. I'm that friend that is true to you, though from a distance. But I'm telling you what a true friend should tell you. Yes, what a true friend should tell you. So there should be availability of economic stability. The next, under financial resources, should be access to resources. Yes, so yes, apart from having steady source of income, the financial resources can provide access to resources like education, healthcare, extracurricular activities. You understand? With the money you have, just know that there is need for you to make some provisions, which will not be made possible if you don't have money. So look for money. Did I say you should go and steal? No. All right. The next is that as a father, please take pen and write to. You must have savings. You must have planning. Papa Bomboy. Ete. Nai. You must learn to save. Oh. Don't say after I solve it, there is no money that is ever enough per time. It takes lots of discipline for you to put hand inside that small amount that entered your account, entered your hand, entered your pocket. Pull some amount and go and throw somewhere and save it. And tell yourself, even if anything is hungry me, I must not touch it. Because there is a day the Bible calls the evil day. The Bible did not say if evil day comes. The Bible says when the evil day comes. That means certainly an evil day waits for everybody. But those that did not prepare for that evil day, when the evil day comes, it swallows everything. So you should prepare by saving money. I get so annoyed at some men that after their wives are put to bed, it's time to pay bills, to settle bills. And they'll start thinking of where to go and borrow money. One called me and said, Mama, my wife just born, no. Mama, my wife just born, no. God, doctor, just give us bill. Give us bill, I beg. See how you go help me now. I look and say, your wife born. Say, how many months did she carry the pregnancy? Say, God helped us. So the pregnancy past 9 months. Your wife carry the belly 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, reach 9 months. The baby no come. Reach 10 months, they run around, they pray. Hey, they pray. And as the pregnancy was entering 11 months, God answered, and your wife, and now you're looking for where to get money. After 9 months. Some not that their wives went in for surgeries or so. Not that their wives had complications. Not that their wives had issues. Even if their wife had issues, 2, 3, 4, 5 months should be enough for a caring father to save up money to welcome the child coming. But you're working. You say, they work. You know, sir, salary no too much. Salary no too much. Salary no too much. But your sexual desire too much. That you could not bring out some amount, certain percentage every day. Because if I support you to pay the hospital bill, not in a private hospital, in this our normal hospital bill with normal delivery without complication, that you as a man expecting a child for 9 months, 10 months, going to 11 months. If I give you that one, so who takes care of that woman that just put to bed? Who take care of her? And the baby, who take care? What? I was forced to ask, okay, so how far have you bought? They say no, that the wife managed to buy baby things. What have you been doing? He say, no, God will provide. God will provide from where? This is a typical example of an uncaring father. God will provide. So what? How about the baby meal? What the baby will say? No, that the woman go give exclusive breast milk. And you don't have any other plans. Wife will suffer. I say, Oga, beg. Let me not waste your time. You waste my time. I will come and take care of the woman and the child at my own time. But that child, if you don't take time, will grow up and hate you. Because the child may hear the story that he could not pay the hospital bill when he was giving birth to. That is it. That, by the way, the problem then could be because the young man refused to save, refused to plan. There should be adequate plan. And the adequate plan will request that you save some money. There is nobody that has it all. Let me shock you. Some people that give all the time don't give because they have, but because they have purposed in their hearts to be a blessing to people. Not because they have more than those that are giving. It's just a lifestyle. And I tell you, they give because they try to make some savings. Save. Discipline yourself and save. So families, fathers can plan and save for the education of the child. If there is anything like insurance for the child, you can go into it. If you notice that there are some amounts that will enter your hand, you go and put in a separate account purely for the education of the upkeep of that child. And you don't go and tamper with that money. Even if it's 10 naira, 100 naira. Some of you fathers that are earning salaries, go to that bank. Go to that bank that your salary comes through and give a standing order. Open an account for your child or your children. Give a standing order that at the end of the month, anytime your salary comes, that so amount should enter the accounts of your children or the account of your child you have opened there. Before your child is 18, your child is quietly a millionaire without knowing. Because by the time you notice that saving 10,000 from your salary for about 18 months, for about 18 years, or 20 or 30 years, it's called that you have saved a whole lot of money. Imagine you're saving 10,000 naira in your child's account. That means every year your child has 120,000 cooling off. For about 30 years, you have about 3-point-something million for the child. So before the child becomes 18, the child has enough money. What are we talking about? So please, let our fathers start being caring so that our children will become happy children. All right, so far we have touched the resources that must be made available before a child is considered being produced into this world. And if at all the child is already here, Father, please go and look at the resources again and make sure that the resources are available. If they are not available, please bring the resources to the availability table so that the child will not grow hating you and start jumping first. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. May the Lord strengthen you. May the Lord bless the works of your hands. May God give you understanding, give you love in your heart for every of your children. Let your children see you and call you a good man, a caring father. And may the prayers your children are praying for you become good prayers, because God will answer all of them. Blessings of the Lord be upon you now and forever. Amen. The Lord bless you. Precious Caleb is my name. I'm your friend from Family on Focus International. And so far, we have touched the beginning of this our discussion that is coming in series on the unhappy children of the uncaring fathers. The Lord bless you. So when next I come your way, don't forget, here we are interested in your relationship working, in your marriage being sweeter, and your home being peaceful. The Lord bless you. I love you.